Oh, that is so funny. No, that's a great picture of you, Jean. And I had to really search for that, I'll tell you. All right, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for the birthday celebration. I love you guys. You guys are so much fun, and I got lots of messages from a lot of you as well, so I appreciate that. But we do have to talk about you guys because you guys are doing an amazing job. Yes. I was up late chatting with a lot of people last night till probably about 11:30 or so, but anyway, it's just such an exciting time, you guys. We have so many people that are qualifying for exec, and I'm not even supposed to be saying that part yet, but I'm already saying it. And we have a lot more people going for month one, so we'll be talking about that. So we have a lot more to celebrate than just my birthday, but I so appreciate all the birthday wishes. So for you guys that are listening to the recording, today's April 28th. And I am super excited to be here with Noelle, who is coming to us from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and who's been behind this whole little shindig. And I'm super excited that Jean is joining us, the one and only Jean Jonas. Yay, let's give her a big hand.
I wouldn't miss this, Kathy. It's your birthday.
Oh, you're so sweet. And Noelle and I have been bragging about you guys like so much, and I'm like, Jean, you got to come and see this, and you got to see these people.
Yeah. No, it's true. Kathy and Noelle have been just chatting you guys up. I hope all your ears have been tingling and burning because you guys are rocking it out.
Yeah,
oh,
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Our sales month to date, April, it's like 154%. Just crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Over prior.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. So anyway, we have a lot to celebrate. Of course, we had 5 executive promotions on the first of the month and everything else that's happening right now. I think right now we have 7 out of 12 of the execs are officially have their numbers in, kind of unofficially official. And I think we already have at least 2 or 3 that have hit month 1. And about 9 more that are super close for month 1. So it's going to be amazing what's going to happen in the next few days. So, but everybody, I mean, even if that's not where you're at, you guys should be super proud of what you're doing because people are busting through sales records. They're having their best recruiting ever. I've heard of people reaching trifecta for the first time, people reaching 4 categories for the first time, people doing recruiting in excellence for the first time, which is my favorite category. And so many are promoting 1 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 7 leaders like this month. It's just been amazing, the double promotions that are happening. And you guys, the sales, like Jean said, you're just knocking it out of the park. So just congratulations to all of you. I know people have sent me messages from like last month, my sales were $4,000 and now they're $50,000. Jim was just talking, I think hers went from 8,000 to 50-some thousand. So, I mean, just amazing what you guys are doing. So I put a little brag post up, and this is for you to brag, okay? So Ashley Vollmer, I'm calling you out. Ashley Vollmer was like, I can't even, because she's promoting like 8 million leaders this month. But yes, you can. You need to brag on that brag post. So I want to see everybody posting, and remember our little lesson on comparison. I know some of you are like, oh, but I'm not promoting yet, or I'm not doing this. We don't care. You guys are reaching your goals, you're strengthening your team, and you are doing all the right things. So it's all going to happen eventually. So no comparison. Luckily, Miss Noelle's going to come in with our little magic.
Mindset magic.
Mindset magic. We call it something different each time. But anyway, so just so excited for all of you guys and everything that's happening. And I'm also super excited that Kristen Wierenga is here today. She's going to knock your socks off, you guys. I have always just adored Kristen and who she is. I remember when I met her, I think we were in Portland, and I looked at her and I was like, you are going far in this business. So I don't know if she remembers that moment or not, but I'm super excited that she has agreed to be here for us today. So with that, you guys, we are going to just get started right quick with a few reminders. So Noelle is going to take it away.
Awesome. So yes, we do want to start with a few reminders, partly because there has been so much going on. And you'll remember during Empower, we challenged, put out the challenge to promote as many directors as possible and to promote 2 executive by September 1st. So those were 2 of our big challenges. And you know, this is Pampered Chef's 40th anniversary year. So we want to celebrate in a huge, big way. So first and foremost, we want to partner with you, our advanced and senior directors, and all of our executive leaders to grow our director team. Today, we have over 1,600 leaders who hold the title of director in North America, and we want to see that number grow. We want to be able to celebrate their success at National Conference in July, and we know that you do as well. So here is the challenge that we laid down. We know you love to show off your accomplishments with ribbons at National Conference, so we're challenging all of our upper level and executive leaders to focus on promoting 1 or more new directors from your personal team in the months of April and/or May. So the promotion dates would be May 1st and June 1st. And when you promote at least 1, hopefully more, you'll receive special ribbon to wear at National Conference and a graphic that you can display on your Facebook wall, which will tell everyone that you are an Empower Achiever. So this challenge is only for upper level and executive leaders. Those of you, again, you will have seen this during our Empower presentation. So we want to know, pop it in the comments, who is in? I know a lot of you have already achieved this because you took this challenge and you went for it, and it's part of your goals for April for those May 1st promotions. So who is promoting 1 or more directors from their personal team in the next 2 months? And I can see that chat is already blowing up. Love it, love it, love it.
Lots of ribbons, Noelle.
I dig it. I dig it. That's, as Kathy would say, that's groovy. Groovy. That is groovy. And so you may remember at Empower, we also talked about sweeping the pot. So we have a challenge that began the day after Empower, and it's running for the next 4 months. When you promote 2 executive by September 1st, not only will you be able to join us at ExecSem on September 15th to 17th, 2020, you will go into a draw for a chance to win a beautiful 14-karat white gold diamond hoop earrings with a total weight of approximately 3/4 of a carat, which I would love to be sporting those. I hope you're all going for this. Or the David Yurman men's sterling silver leather bracelet with diamonds. Also, like that one is also really sharp. So to be in the drawing, a new executive must have a promotion date of May 1st to September 1st. And not only is the new executive in the drawing, but the promoting executive has a chance to win as well. So I love that little carrot. And so we'll say it again, we'll be giving away 1 pair of diamond earrings or 1 bracelet to 1 lucky winner. So who's excited about this and has this in their plans for the next month?
Type it in the chat. Oh, diamonds, baby, says Kelly Church. Kathy Cantrell, yes. Genevieve Black, yes, yes.
Yeah. Kathy, Jean, we're gonna need a bigger space for ExecSem.
Woo! Let's do it.
Kidding. And I just saw something in the chat asking where it's going to be. It's going to be in close to the home office, and the week of September 14th, I believe.
I just saw the dates 15th to 17th.
There we go.
Yep.
The 14th is Chairman's Circle. Okay.
Perfect. All right, so let's review our Executive Bound Team Spring 2020 vision, because you are all a part of this elite group and we see such a bright future for all of you. So you know that our Executive Bound vision is through training, networking, and accountability. You will learn what it takes to become an executive team, and we will have fun in the process. So our vision is to have more teams reach executive leader status this year than last year. And in 2018, we had 12 promotions. Last year in 2019, we had 28 executive director promotions. So our goal is to have 100 executives by October 2020. And right now, we're already at 82. So 82 exec and above. This is amazing. So you're knocking it out of the park. We have 18 to go to reach our goal of 100. And I know that all of you are planning on being in that. There's Ashley already. Count me in. I love it, Ashley. I couldn't catch it all, but somebody said no offense to 2019, but 2020 is going to be even more amazing. I don't know if those were the right words, but
Gonna crush it. Yeah, I see that. That was killer.
that's awesome. All right, so when we started Executive Bound, you all weighed in and we settled on a goal of 40 promotions this year because it's our 40th anniversary, and we've already promoted 6 this year. So on March 1st, Brittany Sunday, 5 promotions on April 1st, Holly Dickey, Mary Grant, Susan Hammert, Karen Pollock, and Christina Wessinger. And we have 7 who have already hit month 2 and 4 that are close in this month. We really could have all 11 hit the goal this month, which would be amazing and record breaking, because that's unprecedented, isn't it, Kathy?
Yeah, totally. And actually there's another two others that aren't in Executive Bound, I think, are hitting it. One's already hit it, and she hit month 1 of SCD in her 2nd month. So
oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
it's
And
impressive.
actually, I think I saw Holly Dickey put in that she's hit month 1 of SCD. I think I saw that really.
Hey, yes. Oh, way to go, Holly. That's awesome.
Pretty amazing. It is
Wow.
so much celebration. And we have 2 who have hit month 2 in April already, and 10 are still working hard to hit it. So those are people that we have heard from. And if you haven't messaged Kathy or I yet that you're close to making it this month, please reach out and message us. We want to make sure we're keeping in close contact with you. And so we know we're on track to hit our goal of 40 new executive director teams for the 40th anniversary. So we want to take a look at this next month. We might have to raise our goal. What do you think, Kath?
Yeah, I think so.
I know, very, very exciting. So this is all of our current execs, and we have the 5 new ones have been added to. Do we call this our vision board, Kathy?
Yeah, we do.
It's our vision board. So
Yeah.
we are, as you said, we're going to open up some more happy spoons on there because we have so many more of you that are going to be joining this chart. And right now we have a total of 47 executive director teams.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see all of your photos up there.
Yep, they're all going to be up there. Pretty soon you're going to be teeny tiny faces. We're only going to get a shot of your eyes, but no.
I think instead we might have to have more than one screen of it. That might be.
I
Hey,
think that
let's fill up a few sheets, guys. I'm open to that.
Rather than shrinking you into
Yeah.
tiny little.
We don't want to shrink you.
All right, so another quick reminder to stay engaged with the Empower 2020 Facebook page. We are continuing to put updates in there, and we're going to have live segments every Thursday. In fact, through the end of May, we've already had our special guests Trish Lowe and Tracy Barron have gone live, reinforcing our leadership principles from Empower. And there will be actually myself, Kathy, and Jean still to come in the weeks ahead with our special guests. So that is.
in fact, Noelle, Stacy, Itzel, and I just went live
Oh, great.
on Empower together and kind of just promoted all of our Thursdays.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Okay, so now we are going to get into what I call mindset magic. Kathy likes to call it mindset moment. So I think we should call it mindset magic moment. I think
I
that's
love it. Nice compromise.
and because we love to come at you and give you some challenges to really look at your mindset and look at challenging how can I change my mindset in every possible positive way. So one of the ways that I love to challenge you to think about changing your mindset is having a top leader mentality and letting go of fear, because fear is something that so often can hold us back, and fear can take a lot of forms. I believe the most common one is the one of caring what other people think about you and fearing taking an action because you're worried about what somebody else is thinking of you. Pop it in the comments if this is something you can relate to. If you've ever had a fear of what somebody else might be thinking of you. And I can tell you, top leaders have learned to let go of that fear. And I love a phrase that's so true in our business. When I heard this, it really resonated. When heard this phrase that said, I used to worry about what other people thought of me until I tried to pay my bills with their opinions. And it really is true. They don't pay your bills. And when you can learn to stop worrying about what somebody else might be thinking, it's very freeing, and it will take away a lot of the fear that's stopping you from moving forward. So think about a time. How many of you can remember a time when you maybe were at a party or you're in a virtual party and a situation came up and you thought, oh, I really should talk to this person about my business and becoming a consultant with my business. And for some reason you didn't. Usually what stops you is a fear of saying the wrong thing, or, you know, thinking, what might that person think if I talk to them about becoming a consultant? And the fear of saying the wrong thing is still a fear of being judged, a fear of what that person is thinking. And the most important thing that I can talk to you about today with this mindset is recognizing that when you deeply and genuinely 100% believe that what you have to offer will benefit somebody, you won't be afraid to talk to them about it. When you genuinely and authentically share your passion, that's exciting and that's engaging. It's not pushy. So again, if you have fears of being pushy, that's a fear of what somebody might be thinking of you. You have to let it go and recognize that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And how many times have you talked about, you know, a movie that you just saw that was amazing, or a new restaurant that you tried? Or I always use the example of the brand new drink at Starbucks, because at one time when Starbucks was launching all these new drinks, we would all go and try them and we'd post it on Facebook and we would tell everyone, you've got to try this. Well, it's when you talk about your business, when you're excited and you're passionate and you genuinely know that what you have to offer is going to be of benefit to the person you're talking to, you'll be able to let go of that fear of what they're thinking of you. So keep that in your mind. And always know when you are talking to people about Pampered Chef, really and truly, we tend to come at it from a viewpoint of how will this affect me? And that's why we're so worried about being judged. Can you flip that? Thank you, Kathy. And when you can get to a place where you recognize some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting, you will again be able to get past that fear, because hearing a no won't be scary and it won't hurt you. There is somebody else waiting to hear what you have to offer. And so I challenge you to change your mindset. If you often think, what's the worst thing that could happen if I talk to this person? Change it. Flip a switch in your mind and think, what's the best thing that could happen if I talk to this person? And it really and truly will change the way you approach it. And I love this quote from Eleanor Roosevelt because it's so true. You wouldn't worry so much about what others think of you if you realized how seldom they do. So I'm challenging you, change your mindset, let go of that fear of what somebody else might be thinking of you, and it's amazing how many times you'll move forward with confidence. So I hope you guys think about that one.
Really great. Thank you, Noelle. I love that. That's fantastic. All right, guys, so we are going to talk about career plan advancement. We've already talked about all three cultures on all of our webinars, and today is the day that we get to hear from our exec. We call it Ask an Exec, but it's actually National Executive Director Kristen Wierenga is going to share with us. And so I just want to go over a couple reminders of what this culture is all about, and you know, what you should be implementing with this culture. So we had shared, like most people know all three cultures. They can rattle them off like nobody's business, right? But my question always is, do you have these three things memorized? In other words, these are the three things that you have to do to really implement this culture. And the other thing is you have to realize there are several different facets of each one of these things. Maybe it's one or two, maybe it's three or four, but this is what it's all about. You have to have your systems in place. Number one, you have to be intentional about marketing the career plan. And number three is be that inspirational leader that creates vision for your team members so that they picture themselves growing in the business. So making sure that you have those systems in place is really one of the very first things that you need to be thinking about. So that's always my question is, do you have these three things memorized enough that you can say, yes, I can honestly say I am implementing all three of these things, right? So if you don't have them memorized, I encourage people to, take a screenshot of this so that you can always be thinking about how have I implemented this. So the next slide is really all about the systems. So, getting your systems in place, like what's your new consultant system? What's your recruiting system? What's your boarding system? So, really making sure you're talking to everybody about every 4, add 1 more. And again, if you guys haven't watched Stacy Itzel's video on how to onboard people on with Dash, it's like an 8 or 9 minute video, guys. So like, for my birthday present, I want you all to watch it, okay? So, and what I recommend you do is actually just watch it like on your phone and have your computer up. So hit it and then go to that place in Dash and then, pause it and then go to that place, just keep going until you get through the whole thing. And most people, I've done this with probably 10 people a week for the last 3 weeks. And they're like, oh, wow, okay. So you're gonna have that kind of response. So to get the video, just go to our Executive Bound page, type in a search for Stacy Itzel and it'll pop right up. All right, so that is my challenge to everybody, to do that. As a matter of fact, if you do, you can message me. I will wait for all 106 messages from all of you to see that you have done that, because it's absolutely worth it to go through that. The other things you guys should be thinking about is the Director Bound program, the brand new one. I know we launched a lot of stuff at the same time, but what is your Director Bound program all about? How are you implementing that? Have you watched the new training? Have you gone through it? Just take 30 minutes a day in the morning to do that. Right? So that's about, you get the new consultants, then you train them well, then you get them into Director Bound, right? And then now, guys, we have Impact to strengthen them. All right. So on May 7th, Impact is opening up to all of your directors. So another challenge that I have, I've actually put this on the slide at the end, is I want you all to make sure you go through it by May 6th, because it's open to them on May 7th. So guys, as you are promoting all of these leaders, sometimes we get so focused on, okay, who's next, which is awesome, but we also need to be strengthening those other leaders. So I really encourage you guys to jump into that. Now, I have a little treat for you guys next month, because Stacia Smilik, who is the pro on the Impact program, is literally going to walk you guys through how to use the leader guide in order to strengthen your new consultants. So you want to make sure that you guys have gone through all of that. So any questions about Impact, Director Bound, anything we've talked about so far? Because I really want to get to Kristen next. So anybody have a question?
Kathy, when is the Impact training with Stacia? Is that on a normal day?
That's going to be in 2 weeks for our next webinar. Yeah, so whatever that date is, May something. It'll flip up on the slide here in a minute. Okay, so she's going to walk you guys through that, but it's going to make a really big difference if you guys use it and you know how to use that leader guide. It's really just about doing check-ins with them, like 15-minute check-ins. So some of them might be a little bit longer, but we talked last week about the timing, and she's going to share a little bit more with you guys than what she shared during Impact. And I know there was a lot that came at you guys for Impact. So anybody else have a question? You can type in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask about anything we've talked about so far. Director Bound, where to find stuff. Y'all good? All right, fantastic. All right, well, let's actually go and talk about this lovely lady, my friend, Kristen Wierenga. And so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Kristen, then I'm going to tell you a little bit about her accomplishments. So as you guys know, she is a national executive director, and she lives in Seattle, Washington. She's been with Pampered Chef for 5 years, and she signed up to get the products for free, and Pampered Chef was her third job at the time. She used her Pampered Chef income to pay off her car loan, her student loans, her credit cards, and to be completely debt-free aside from her mortgage, which is amazing. Since she started, she quit her full-time job where she was the breadwinner for her family. And so she works from home now with her 2 kids, Harper, who is 6, and James, who is 3. So that picture is a little bit old, but I love that picture of her family. So I thought I would put that on there. And So this is super cool, you guys. So her and her husband have just bought their dream home. This is a 1912 farmhouse. I wish I had a picture of it, but it's on acreage, and her new short-term goal is to pay off their mortgage and be 100% debt-free at age 35. Like, wow, right? I mean, amazing. Her long-term goal, and I didn't know this, this was something that was new to me, but it's so special. Her long-term goal is to use her Pampered Chef income to fund, create, and develop new parks and open spaces for recreational use for low-income communities. She's passionate about outdoor recreation for all and wants to give back to communities in need. And I always ask people to share one thing that most people don't know about them. And one thing I didn't know about Kristen was that she studied abroad in high school and used to be fluent in Spanish. So anyway, that's a fun little tip. So, and by the way, so this picture here of us all dressed up is in Hawaii, and then down below with Andrew, I talked them all into going to Core Power. So sorry, Lori Bedwell and Katie, I didn't have your permission to put it on there, but but I thought it was a fun one. Of course, here's a picture of her in Paris. So lots of fun stuff. So this is what this amazing woman has done. So of course, she's a national executive director run with a complete virtual business. You guys, she has 61 directors in her organization right now. I know you guys are looking at this screen like with your mouth hung open, right? She has 1,478 people on her team. In 2018, she was Circle of Honor for developing leaders. She's been top 5 for personal recruiting for many times. 2019, she's a 4-category Excellence Award achiever, earned multiple top-level trips. That's all she does is earn top-level trips. Earned the executive trip to Paris, which is the picture I just showed you guys. She's personally recruited last year, you guys, 68 people personally, right? Celebrated 48 promotions last year and already 40 this year. So guys, in 4 months, they've done what they did, not even 4 months, it's not the end of the month yet, what they did all year, which is unbelievable. In 2019, you guys, she had a $3.8 million organization, and in 2019, 1,163 recruits. And by the way, this isn't on here, but in 2020, they are already at 2.8 million, which is amazing in less than 4 months, and already have 932 recruits. So let's give a warm welcome and lots of applause for Miss Kristen Wierenga. So I'm going to stop the share so we can put her on. Yay!
Yay.
Thank you for being here, Kristen. We're so happy to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me. And when Kathy invited me, she didn't tell me it was a birthday celebration, so I showed up at the beginning with no sign. Come on now.
You know what? It was a surprise for me. Lisa Noto and Kristen Blessinger got a hold of Noelle, and they all, you know, did their little thing.
That's cute.
It was a fun
I love
surprise.
it. I love it. Awesome.
You being here is my birthday gift, my friend.
Aw, I'm still laughing at the birthday bone, just saying. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 different things with career plan advancement today. And the first thing is creating desire. So Kathy shared with you kind of those, like, you know, the systems and the things you should have in mind. And I think it's kind of broken into 3 things. And the first one's creating desire for career plan advancement. And I truly believe that all the explosive growth that our organization has had is because we've really harnessed career plan advancement and really made that a very strong culture organization. And I'm going to explain how. So with creating desire, I want you to think about, number 1, how are you creating desire for career plan advancement with your new consultants? So this first step is obviously director, right? So how are you creating desire for director with new consultants? And a few things that we do is right away on their first onboarding call, we talk about the fast track rewards and we entice them and throw that out there for them. And then every single new consultant goes into our Director Bound program. They all get invited to Director Bound. The only reason they wouldn't go into it is if it was a conflict with their schedule, or if they really didn't want to earn an extra $3,000 or more in bonuses. So So we share with them what the rewards are. And one piece of that I love is I drive home the fact that they get the entire new spring line right now when they fast track director, including the deluxe air fryer. So I call out the big ticket item that they're going to get. And that alone sometimes will drive people to promotion, not even considering all the cash that they can get along the way. So create that desire really strongly up front, and then give them the opportunity to go right into your director bound program and make sure every new consultant is invited to that. So that's with new consultants, and then also existing consultants. So you have this new flood of energy coming in, and they need to come in at that culture. The culture is just that we do 4 parties per week, we recruit 1 person per week, and we all promote to fast track director. That's just what we do, right? But then you have your pool of existing consultants, and you want to make sure that the culture there meshes with the new people coming in. And so how do you keep that in front of them? And you can do that through Get Them More events and doing those regularly. And I do suggest doing them every single time you're getting ready to do your next director bound program, because then you have your invites for your new consultants coming in to your next new director bound program, and then also anyone from the Get Them More you're looking for, and those invites then just go right into your next director bound. So doing those regularly, monthly perhaps, and then also through sharing your vision board. And sharing your vision board every single month. Super, super important to make sure you keep that in front of them, because it's not just you as a new consultant working individually in your business to achieve the air fryer or achieve your goals or whatever it is, but while you do that, you feed the vision of the team. And so and we talk about this so much, I feel like, and Kathy and Jean and Noelle, and everyone does such a great job of explaining this, but you have to paint that vision so clear that they can see themselves in it. So when I'm presenting our vision board, and it has morphed and changed, the presentation of this has changed as we've gone from senior to executive to senior exec to national. Like, it's changed and morphed, and it's different now that we're national, like I'm presenting that vision. But for you guys working towards exec, like, it is, okay, here's our vision, here's where we're headed, and this is why it's awesome and exciting to be a part of this, and making it a really big deal. And I think it was Noelle or Kathy or someone said earlier, and I wrote it down, there's 47 executive teams in the nation. Like, there's more if you add senior exec and national, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about exec. You would be one of 48 if you included you, right? You promote and now there's 48 teams. You're one of 48. That's a big stinking deal. And creating culture around that, and around that you'd be a founding director of this next executive team, like all the things that you can do to just keep the vision in front of them and help them see how they fit in it. So how I do this is when I explain to them, and I made a vision board with boats on it this year to go with the cruise. And so I ordered these cutouts from Etsy, and I have enough of them for all of our directors, and I wrote the directors' names on them. It's on like a really big whiteboard that's back behind. I would show it to you, but it's really big. And so I have this, and I have first generation all lined up, second generation lined up, third generation lined up, and I have extra. I have extra that are empty. And I specifically did that on purpose because I have a goal of how many first gen I want this year, how many second gen and third gen I want this year. And so the empty correlate to how many more we want to promote. And so when I'm sharing the vision, and they represent the color. So this is national color, so you could get yours in teal or whatever. However you do this, doesn't matter. But I present that, I'm like, this is what we're working towards. And if you want to be a director, that is awesome. You're gonna claim your ship. You're probably gonna cruise with us too, because most directors are in the trip, and that's really exciting. And for those of you who don't want director, that's okay too, because the fact of the matter is we're always going to have more consultants than we have directors, but every single one of you are an important piece of the puzzle. You all matter. We can never achieve this without our consultants and our directors and everyone on our entire organization. So you all matter, and you all play an important role in this. And so I kind of explained, and I did this back when we were working towards exec even, their role, if they're working for a director, here's your role. If you're not working for a director, here's your role and here's how you're important. And sometimes I would even say, if you're not working towards director, that's great too. You're a cheerleader for us, right? You're cheering on those that are working towards director. You're being active every single month. You're doing a party a week or 4 parties a week or whatever you want to do. And so I kind of define the roles in the overall vision. And so I think that was really helpful because they each could see themselves and what their role was in working towards the overall vision. And then I will share with you guys too, I pulled a couple screenshots of things. And so I set a goal to, I'm going to share my screen really quick. Oh, maybe.
Hold on, I think I have to allow you.
You have to approve me.
Oh, give me 1 second and I'll do
Okay.
that.
So I set a goal for how many first generation directors I wanted to promote this year. And for you guys working towards exec, like obviously you need structure in your first and your second gen, right? But when you kind of get to a different level, your goals focus, your goals shift a little bit because we're national. But I think this is still something you could do in your personal team page. So I have an org page. Everyone's in that adds to that, right? Like that's everyone, over 1,000 consultants. And I have the vision board, the director faces for the cover photo, and I'll share that with you guys. But then in my personal team page, I set a goal for how many directors I wanted to promote out of my personal team this year. And so there's a spot for them on the cover photo for that as well. So for example, I will share with you guys just real quick. This is the cover photo that I do in my personal team page. So we have goals, which we blew out of the water this month. And then over on the right-hand side, it's like, these are our first gen director team newbies this year. And so every single time we promote a new first gen, they claim a house. And so then that also corresponds with my, this is the cover photo for my org page. I'm gonna have to do the eyeball thing, like Kathy said, like cut it off to the eyeballs or something, because it's getting a little out of hand here.
This is a good problem to have, my dear.
Yes. So this is a little busy because we keep adding and I need to fix it. I'm doing that this month. But and then I have little houses because it started with houses and we did houses all along. And I know we're doing boats on the cutout, so it doesn't really make all that much sense, but they get it and they don't care. They just know they're working towards director or they're working towards exec or whatever they're working towards. So you get the idea. And then this is important to keep in front of them and share with them over and over and over again. But then having the goal and then seeing themselves in it so that they can work towards that is super helpful. So let's talk for a second about how do we encourage directors to then go for upper level, because that is where the magic starts happening. And that's what we're experiencing right now, where we're having this like explosive growth, because we have like 6 people working towards exec. We have all these people working towards senior. Ultimately, they want to hit exec and they're working towards senior really hard right now so they can hit exec later in the year. So, so what I started doing, because I've been really kind of just juicing this around in my mind, like how can I really drive this home? And so what I started doing was showing what the pay can be at different levels. And I think it's very important for us to not just market director as a destination, because it's not. It's like one step in the journey, right? And there's stops in the journey or destinations in the journey, but that's not the overall journey. And this might surprise some of you guys. Like, I do not even talk about wearing a red dress. I don't talk about a red scraper, like, because it's, if I build up this huge thing about being a director, then what am I building up to be advanced? What am I building up to hit exec? Like, it's not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to like market all the cool things about directorship, market them, but don't make that the destination, because that's where they stop and then they don't continue moving on to advanced and the next and the next. So we don't make a really big deal about, like, this is the one thing you're working towards and there's nothing else. So this next piece is what I do to kind of market where they could go. And so shout out to Katie and Danny. I think they're on the call. So they were paid as execs for March. And so I put in here what they would be paid as consultant pay. I hope they don't mind that other people are seeing how much they're making. Sorry guys, I probably should have blurred that out. But I put what they would make as a consultant, and then I put what they would make as executive pay. And so my plan is to do this every single month, because, and this is in my director page, but you could certainly do this in your org page, because you have a smaller org, so you could do that and have it make sense. But I just put like, these two fine ladies were paid as an executive. They hit month 1 of exec structure. It's pretty dang crazy to think you can make $10,000 or more a month with your business consistently. And so I do that, but then I took it a step further. And this might be more applicable for you guys, but you could even potentially do this just at the advanced director level. So take those advanced directors you have and highlight their pay between consultant pay and advanced pay. So then these ladies are paid as senior director. And so again, creating desire to go from director, we're kind of skipping advanced. I don't know if I'm breaking the rules with that, but I'm like, whatever. I'm preaching like, okay, like once we hit director, we're just going straight to senior director. Once we hit senior director, we're going for executive director and so forth, because advanced is just like a small stepping stone along the way. It's important, but we're just going straight for senior. So, because think about it, you have people that come through director bound, you get them to director bound, but then what's next? How do you get them to the next thing? And the reason we kind of skip advanced is because advanced is only one open spot on the vision board. And I want everyone on the team to be working towards something and not think, oh, Susie will fill a spot on the vision board because we only need one, and Susie kills me every single month in sales and recruiting. But if they see a vision board with multiple spots open, then the whole team knows that they all have to be working. It's not just one person filling the slot. So I coach new directors like, hey, like your vision board should have senior on it. We don't want just a spot for one and think that there's one spot to fill. So back to this is just recognize, and if you only have advanced, you don't have seniors, totally fine. Recognize that, right? Paid as consultant, paid as advanced. It's just going to help people get excited about how much more they can make. And then this is an idea I got from someone else in a different direct sales company, and I loved it. And I was like, I'm making this my own. And so my upline posts this in my org page every single month, and I make the image and then she posts it as kind of like a congrats. So then I'm not posting like my own income, but you could certainly do that. And so it just shows like what I made each month at each, along the way. And so they can see like, oh, it's not just Kristen making a lot of money. It's like, look at the progress, and so when I share my vision board, even now, like when the one with the boats and stuff on it, I try and couple it with a story and saying like, this is my story and this is where I started. It started with one, and look at all the boats we have now. And you guys might just see the amount of money I make right now, but that's not how it started, right? And I like walk through how it started with like a little desk. I don't know why. I think this is so cool, but so I always share it. I'm like, I had a little desk on my kitchen counter. It was like a 1x1 with my laptop and a bunch of papers like flying everywhere. And then I had to upgrade to a little folding table in the master bedroom and a little space in my closet. Like I tell them like, I started where you started, and you might just see the money every month, but don't get me wrong, like I've been there. And so it's relatability. And so they don't just see the income progression or how much money, but they see the story and they see themselves in that story. And then they see themselves in the overall vision. All right. So I'm only on number 1 and we have 13 minutes left with time for questions. So I'm going to talk faster. Okay. So that was creating desire, right? Creating desire. So the next is create opportunity to learn new skills. So you create the desire for all your peoples, but then are you giving them the chance? Are you equipping them with the skills they need? And so how you do that is director bound and accountability. So director bound is obviously like, how are we going to help them reach director? We're training them, we're equipping them with the skills they need. So you give them the desire, and then you have to train them and equip them on how to do the things, right? And so it's, how do you recruit? And right off the bat, like new consultants, we're preaching 4-in-1 with every new consultant, and we're training them right out of the gate. How do you look for recruit leads in your parties? How do you talk with your host about the business? And how do you approach those recruit leads out of your parties? So we have new consultants that are recruiting right out of the gate because we're training them how to recruit right out of the gate. And then they go into the director bound program. Even seasoned consultants, right? We invite them, they go director bound too, and then we train them right in there. we just remind them, here's how you talk with your host, here's how you find your guests, and here's how you ask them. And then we even go deeper into recruiting, because there's, like in the Director Bound program, it talks about the 3 I's of recruiting, right? And so we cover that and we go deeper into, okay, maybe you're informing them and you're inviting them and things like that. And so how do you navigate that one-on-one conversation? All right, how do you go through that and make sure that that they are not just stopping at the first no? You need to equip them on how to overcome objections and things like that. So so we make sure that we cover all that in Director Bound so that they have the skills and they can walk away with those skills. And then accountability. So this is huge, you guys. So you have your training, okay, but you can't have training with a Director Bound program, in my opinion, and not have a one-on-one accountability, right? You could put them through Director Bound all day long, but if you don't hold them accountable or you don't work with them one-on-one, you will not promote directors as fast as if you actually held them accountable. And I was actually coaching one of my directors, and she's like, Kristen, like my management style is just not like hand-holding. She's like, I'm not a hand-holder. And I'm like, that's fine. But let me tell you, you can go you can go the route that is natural for you to not handhold people. But I will tell you, if you work through that and you provide a little bit of one-on-one accountability, you're going to promote people 5,000 times faster. So I'm like, work with your personality style, but understand what's going to help you achieve the thing faster based off the needs of your consultants. And so know what your management style is, but then make sure that you can break through that to provide what they need to get them there faster, right? So from an accountability standpoint, for us at least, it's all show-based coaching. So you get your people in your Director Bound, right? And then this is what I train my directors on is you got to have their show schedule. Okay, they're going in Director Bound. Every single one of your personal team members in Director Bound get their show schedule for the month. All right. And then every single week you're checking in with them, and you messaging them is at least once a week. And I message my people on the day that their parties close. So the day that their parties close is when I'm reaching out to them. Why did I select that day? Because the bulk of the sales have come in by that point. And so I know if there's a kit coupon to spend. I know by that time they should have identified the rock stars and the Q&A people, and they should have messaged them already. They should have asked their host about the business multiple times. So by then they should have done these things, and I have a clear picture of what I have to work with when I reach out to them. If when I reach out to them, they're like, and I will assume that they've done what they're supposed to do. So I will say, oh, I see that Susie, I check in and I'm like, hey, how are your parties going this week? And I have the list, so I know exactly what their parties are. So I see that they have Susie, Sally, and Bianca, right? And then I'm like, oh, Susie has a kit coupon. What did Susie say about the business and the kit coupon? And they're like, I'm like, okay, did you ask about the kit coupon? Did you share they have a kit coupon? Because I'm assuming they are, because they were trained that way, and I want to go in with that assumption. But then if they don't, I'm like, it's cool. Here's the words to use. Go ask her and then screenshot what she says. All right. But they're like, crap. Next week comes, they're like, Kristen's going to ask me what this person said about the kit coupon, right? Like they're going to be ready. And you kind of like train them each time as you're doing this, right? And then I also ask, what did your rock stars say about the business? What did your Q&A people say about the business? And again, I'm assuming they asked them because they should have, based off of the training they were given. And again, if they haven't, I'm like, okay, here are the words to use. Go ask them, send me a screenshot. And again, they're going to be ready next week because they know I'm going to ask the same things, right? So that accountability is important, show-based coaching, and generally then those ones that I'm working with that are in my Director Bound, like they move quickly and they promote and they kind of move to the next thing because they're given the accountability with the training, so they can walk out what they're learning and actually do the things that they're learning in Director Bound. So I do that with my personal team members, and I coach my directors to do that with their people as well. And this is over message. I don't do calls. Like certainly you could do it over phone calls and you can still have success with that too. I just do it over Facebook message. Okay, so the third bullet point here in career plan advancement. So we talked about creating desire. We talked about creating opportunity to learn new skills. And then the third piece is recognizing and rewarding the activities and behaviors. So recognizing and rewarding the activities and behaviors. So you could do this a lot of ways, but the point is, like they're going to keep doing whatever you encourage them to keep doing. So if you can create the desire, you can equip them to do the things, and then you can recognize and reward the behaviors and the action steps and them actually doing the thing. It's just reinforcing it to just keep happening over and over and over again. So you could do this through posts, through like posts on your team page. You could do it through public praise at team meetings. You could do it through asking them to speak at a team meeting. So I always take my top performers from the month prior. I usually take my top recruiter, my top seller, and I invite them to share at the team meeting for that next month. And so that's a form of recognition in and of itself. And then I'm doing posts about every 4 add 1 more recognition. And sometimes I'll do special incentives, like I might run like a just ask campaign where maybe, you know, I give them special opportunities to ask people and post it on the wall, and then they get entered into drawings and things like that. I don't do that regularly, but like on special months where I want to really drive recruiting, I might put out like a special campaign. So let me share with you guys a couple examples of posts that I do to just kind of reinforce this behavior. And I certainly don't think that you have to put a bunch of money out there to, you know, to have them do the thing. Like it can just be as simple as a post. So like these are posts that I do, and I also do this in my director page too. Like I started doing this, and I was trying to figure out like how can I recognize 4 and 1, but sometimes they weren't submitting a full 4 shows, but they were getting the recruits. And so I was like, I just need to simplify this and just still emphasize 4 and 1, but then just really recognize the recruiting part of it too. So I recognize if someone has recruited by the 5th, and then I also recognize if they have 2 or more recruits by the 15th, because again, 4 and 1, they would have maybe 1 recruit by the 5th or by the 7th, and then 2 recruits by the 15th would still go with 4 and 1 every week. So I just simplified it, and I'm like, hey, if you have a recruit by 5, you're getting recognized. If you have 2 or more by the 15th, you're also getting recognized. And I do this with directors as well. So I do a post on the director page if they have recruit by 5. And then also, and this might be hard to see because it's white on white, but this was something I did when we were a really small team, and I stopped doing it as we grew, but it was very effective. So this is baby steps to recruiting. And so this would be for all the activities that they did to try and recruit. Even if they didn't actually recruit, they still got rewarded for that. And so to redeem the ticket, I would have them post like #BabyStepsApril in the team page with which item they did. And then I could just run the hashtag and grab all their tickets based off of their hashtag posts, and then encouraged other people to recruit too, and reminded other people that, hey, there's this baby steps thing going on, and when you do these things, you're going to get rewarded for that. So I think there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but the idea is just that you are rewarding, you're recognizing it, because then it will repeat, right? Whatever you highlight is going to be repeated. And then lastly, and I know I've talked really fast and I feel like I could still cover so many other things. Kathy asked me if I could throw in real quick at the end a little bit of time management tips. So I'm really particular about how I schedule my time, and it allows me to be insanely efficient. And so one of the things that I do is I block out like my business hours. And so I know when I'm working, when I'm specifically working my business. And then not only that, I know exactly what I'm doing in those business hours. So like if I know, for example, I'm an early riser, so I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to come down, I'm going to work for like 2 hours, and then I'm probably going to work again in the afternoon, and then I might work again later in the evening or whatever, just depends on the day. I have my time blocks, but then I know exactly what I'm doing in those time blocks. And so every night before I go to bed, I make a to-do list for the next day. So when I sit down at 5 a.m. with my coffee, I'm not like, what am I supposed to be working on right now? And I get sucked into messages, and I spend like 2 hours answering messages. I got nothing done on my to-do list. And not only that, but like other people's problems and needs that came above my own problems and needs, because I was addressing emails or messages first in my day, which I hate doing that, because it's like I need to take care of me first and what I need to do first. So I have a to-do list. I write down exactly what I need to do, and then I know when I sit down to work, I'm going to exactly do my things that I need to get done. And so when I'm really particular about this, I will even write in the time of day that I answer messages. So I'll be like, oh, I'm not answering messages right now because my time to check my messages is 1 p.m. You know, and I block in like a few times throughout the day to check messages, but that's not like running my business hours. So that way I can be efficient, I can get things done. I also do not check notifications, which might sound really crazy to some people, but checking notifications is like a huge time suck. And so instead, and sometimes I might miss something important, and sometimes people like tag me and stuff like, oh, didn't you see that? I'm like, no, I don't check notifications, sorry.
Right.
So what I do though is when I go to check my parties, for example, and I have a set time of day, I'm checking my parties and I'm responding to comments. Instead of checking notifications, I just pull up the party, I scroll, comment, scroll, comment, scroll, comment. It's so much faster. And so I think ultimately, and I have a mentor that helped me kind of like think through this for myself, and it really helped the way she said it. But ultimately, you have to think about like, what are the 3 things that you spend the most time on? Like, what are your time suckers? And so for me, at one point, it was like messages. And I'm like, I spend so much time in messages. And so we talked through, well, how can you find a solution to that? Like, how can you overcome this time suck? And then think of all the ways that, okay, messages are this way. I'm going to make sure that I do this thing to create efficiency, or I automate it, or I delegate it, or I do whatever, eliminate it so that it saves time. So also one last thing before I open up for questions is I turned off all notifications. This is like my dream body right here. So I've turned off all notifications on my phone so that nothing pings me. And one of my biggest pet peeves, I'm sorry if this is you, like I have a friend, I love her to death, and she has like an iWatch or whatever they're called. I don't even know because I would never buy one. Watch, I'll have one like next year. No, okay, so she has one, and I'm sitting there and I'm like having coffee with her. This is before COVID, and she's like, every time it pings, she's like looking at it, and she's looking at it. I'm like, this is so distracting. Like, I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and you're like looking at your stupid phone, like your watch, whatever, like stop. And so I don't want those distractions in my life. So I've turned off all notifications on my phone, all notifications on my computer. I don't get those alerts in the bottom corner that come up. Like, everything is turned off, because how can I be efficient with my time if I get distracted all the time with other people's needs? I'm like, no, I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my personal business. I'm spending time, focused time with my family and my spouse. And so turning off notifications was like the best thing ever. So all right, guys, sorry, that was like soapbox moment, and I'm sure there's a million questions in the chat. So do we have time for Q&A, Kathy? Did I just?
Yes, we are totally making time. I was just going to send a message. Okay. We're going over. So if people have to go, we totally understand. Some people might have commitments, and this is being recorded, so you'll be able to come back just to the Q&A if you haven't heard it. But I think we have an overwhelming majority of people that want to stay and have you talk for another hour. No, I'm just kidding. So, but thank you. That was amazing. So let me just go ahead and go through some of the questions. Maybe you already saw this. Do you ask permission to share income each month?
No, they just kind of know that I mean, I think when I first started doing it, I think I might have, and I don't know, I can't remember, maybe I did with Danny and Katie when I was going to do their exec pay. But I think maybe the first time you do it, you could ask, and then it's just kind of like, it's just what we do. And so they just kind of expect it, or they know without having to ask like the new people coming up and in, they just see it and they're like, oh, I'm going to get highlighted on this thing. But maybe the first time you could, if you feel like they wouldn't be okay with it. And then after that, it just kind of becomes what you do.
Okay, great. Thank you. So do you hold a Get the More You're Looking For event for every Director Bound? When you say they're added right into the Director Bound program, is that even if they're already running, even if it's a few weeks have gone by?
I put them in the next one. So I would not put them in like one that's like halfway done. But like say they sign and I'm going to start the next Director Bound 2 weeks later, then they would go into that one that starts in 2 weeks. If they sign,
they're every 4 weeks, right?
Yes, and I always run them every single month, no matter what, because in that way I can put new people in it, and then I know exactly when I'm running them, and I do it on a monthly basis, so that it's just easier for me to have that system just like constantly churning. And if I have someone that signed tomorrow and I start the new one on Saturday, you best believe they're going to the new one on Saturday. Like, I'm not going to make them wait 4 weeks. Like, it's great foundational information for a new consultant, so I get them in.
And you're doing a new consultant call is how you're creating the desire and then bumping them right into the, and is that a call you do like every week, same call every week, or is that the individual calls? Or
it's kind of similar to like what Stacy Itzel covered in this in Dash. I kind of do something a little similar to that for my new consultant onboarding. I like tweak it to obviously make it my own, but it's similar to that.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, and then let's see.
Kathy, it's there was just another question around that, director bound, and the question was, do you run those or do you have somebody else? Do you delegate that?
Yeah, this is probably like going against unpopular opinion, so I might get in trouble for saying this. I run my own, and I run the calls. So I come from a background of I worked in the private sector, and if I needed something, I would do it and I would get it done, right? And then I went to government work, and everything took a million years. And I was like, this is stupid. And people would come to me like, Kristen, I really need to get something done. I'm coming to you because I know you'll get it done. You'll get it done fast. And so like government work takes forever. And so I kind of just am in this mentality, and I know it's not actually the best, but it's just how I run things, is like, rather than spend a week preparing, this person's going to run this call, this person's going to run this one, and this person's going to run this one. And then we just spent 500 hours planning for this thing and getting people ready to like line up to do their calls, when I could spend 1 hour and be extremely efficient and like, it's all planned, it's all ready to go and like done. And so I think there's a lot of value in empowering your leaders and giving them opportunity to speak. And that's very important. And I still do that. I just don't, I do that in certain ways in certain places. And so I run all of them and I do the calls myself. And then I still make sure that I'm empowering and training and developing my leaders. I just do it in different ways.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so when a personal team promotes to director, when do you move them out of your personal team?
When they promote to director.
As soon as they promote.
I keep the director in my personal team page for like a month or two. I'm like, hey, I'm going to keep you in there for a month or two. You can kind of see like what I do and get ideas and whatever. But I take their people out because their people don't get recognized on posts and they might feel left out and stuff. And so I kind of use that as like the reasoning behind why like they're getting merged out.
Okay. And then a lot of questions around this. Do you have a spreadsheet to plug in the numbers to show the pay difference? How do you figure do you have a formula to figure the pay difference? How do you do that from like exec pay versus, you know?
So it will show you when you go into consultant connection summary and then performance details, I think it is. I don't have the names memorized with the buttons, but you go into the consultant connections summary, and then the bottom left, there's like a button performance something. You click on that and it will actually show you their pay difference.
Okay, perfect. All right. All right, so we already saw you share yours as SCD. Noelle or Jean, do you see one that I haven't gotten to yet?
I think someone asked, like, how do you track their numbers for their shows and stuff? I have them tell me they're unsubmitted. So every Friday when I message them, I'm like, hey, what are your shows at this week? Like how many bookings do you have from your parties and things like that? And then I plug that into spreadsheets so I know like where their parties are at because I haven't submitted anything, but I want to know what the sales are. So I just do that through asking them.
Okay, great.
And Kelly asked, is your director bound org-wide or personal team?
So it's personal team. However, as I promote directors, they stay with me. They like stay under my wing and my nest until they like kind of grow strong enough that they can do their own. And like this is just kind of intuitive for me, but you'll gain this skill with time. Is I can tell when they're ready. They don't think they're ready, but I know they're ready. And so I kind of like push them out a little bit, but it's different for each one. So at the beginning, I learned a hard lesson. I pushed everyone out of the nest. I was like, you guys are ready. I just think y'all need to do your own now. And I kicked them all out. And then some of them flew and some of them fell to their death. So I learned the bad way, like, don't just push them all out of the nest. Like, each one's going to be different. And so as I know that they can take it and they can handle it, like I have a new gal that's promoting this month and she's promoting her first month of business. She sent me the career plan and she wrote on every level the date by which she's going to promote all the way to national. And I was like, this girl's running her own director bound in 2 months. Like she's going to be like out of the nest, like flying. But then I have other ones who are like going to crap their pants if I like ask them to do it. So I work with them based off of kind of where they're at.
Okay. Let's see. So what about the 4-in-1 people that don't want to jump on board with 4-in-1?
I don't really have that. I mean, I'm not saying that like not everyone is recruiting, because I have people that are not recruiting, but like I train them on the culture and the skills and what they do, and then what they do is what they do. If they don't want to work towards a director, that's fine. Like they can come to the team meeting every month and they get, you know, whatever support I'm giving my team. They're not going to get like the one-on-one from me that my director bound people are getting, but they're still supported and loved. They just decide if they want to recruit or not. But I train them all the same way and they get the same culture.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I think what we're going to do is I may reach out to you, Kristen, for some of these other questions, and then we can answer them. I'm doing a live tomorrow with everybody where we kind of, am I doing that, or is you, Noelle's doing that tomorrow? Noelle's doing that. So maybe we can share some of those answers tomorrow. What do you think, Noelle?
Yep, that sounds perfect.
Okay. Okay, great. So Kristen, thank you so much. Let's give kudos, hearts, cheers to Kristen. Absolutely amazing. Always so great to hear you share. I mean, you just say it like it is and you get the job done, and we just so appreciate that. So I know everybody's shaking their head like how amazing you are. So we're grateful to learn from you. So thank you. So I'm going to just go over a couple really important announcements for you guys. And let me share my screen again. And let's see, screen one, share. Okay. All right, so you guys have a bazillion new ideas of how to make this happen. So of course we have Facebook Live. I just talked about that. That is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time. So tune into that to get a little bit more information about what we are talking about today and some additional ideas. As you guys know, a couple months ago, we started this First Friday call. The first call is really a special call. It is only for people who are in month 1 or month 2, and that's at 10 a.m. Central Time. So you guys, this month, I'm gonna need to know right away what track you're on. Like, I know some of you are wrapping it up in the next 3 days, and some of you are saying, I'm prepping to make next month my month 1. Because then you guys are gonna be able to participate in that 10 a.m. call. That's only for people who are in month 1 or month 2. Now, everybody is able to join the 12 noon Central Time call for the additional group coaching. So kind of keep that in mind, you guys. This is something that we added, and we didn't really advertise this, but this has really been beneficial to the team. So we have added a few things. You guys know about the First Friday call that we do the group coaching, but for those that are in month 1 or month 2, we just really wanted to implement some additional support. Obviously we have the First Friday call. That's only for the people in month 1 or month 2 at the 10 a.m. time. You have a choice of a one-on-one or a live. So some people are like, well, how do I decide? And what I always tell people is, if you feel like this is it, like I know this is happening, I am set up for it, I would say let's do the live. If you feel like, oh, I still need to work the numbers or really talk about some of these people, how to handle some difficulties, I would say do the coaching call. And I would love to do both, so would Noelle, but right now, you guys, with 106 people in this program, we're just running out of time. So that's why some of these things came up, was how can we kind of multiply our efforts? So the other thing we added was a leader call. And so this is where all of you guys, as executive bound participants that are in month 1 or month 2, you can invite all of your downline leaders to participate in this. And the focus really is all about being green by the 15th. It's really kind of a new best practice we're emphasizing at home office, is everybody should be working to be green by the 15th of every single month. So what are the strategies you're doing to make that happen? What are you implementing? How are you setting the expectation? How are you rewarding it, recognizing it, all of that kind of thing. And then we also added a call for your aspiring leaders. Now with this one, you guys, we had like 250 people on the call, so I had to limit it. I have enough space for 500 people, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen the first time around. So this is the aspiring leader call, is for, again, people that are in month 1 or month 2. And for your aspiring leaders, your personal aspiring leaders, and then it's also for your first and second gens and their aspiring leaders. All right, so we have to set a limit right now, just because I don't want to, you know, bust through the lines. So the thing that's going to be really important is that we always need, we're going to start doing this every month now, you guys to fill out this Google form. So if you're going for month 1 or month 2, we need to know, because we're getting lots of messages, which I love. I mean, I was checking messages, like Kristen said, all night long last night with updates, which is super exciting. But this is what helps us keep all of this organized. So if you're going for month 1 in May, we need to know that, and we need you to fill out the form. You can message us too, but the form helps us stay organized. Now, here's what I have to say. Some of you are going, wow, that's cool. Lots of special treats for people who are in month 1. But what I want you to do is don't just say, you know, well, I've got 3 first-generation leaders and no aspiring, but I'm going for it. I'm just going to give it a go. Guys, that's not the way to do it. You got to get the aspiring leaders lined up. And if you need 3 more, you should be working with 6 to 9 people. You need to double or triple the potential aspiring leaders you're working with in order to get that number of people. So on April 30th, I'm going to email this. I'm going to post it on the page. And if you're going for month 1 or month 2, you do need to fill that out. Just, and obviously month 2 people we know, but we still, if you just put your information in there, we don't have to, you know, worry about missing anybody. And then the next thing is just the reminder. Of course, National Conference has changed, but we are doing a graduation for Executive Bound and for our Lead Plus people, and for Lead the Way. We are working on reworking that. So we'll let you know the date and time as soon as we do that, since we're doing the whole live stream thing. But the thing is, guys, remember, no more passes, because you have 4 passes and you're out on the 5th, but be really careful about that. All right, so the last thing is our call to action. And so I want to have you guys really focus on the things that Kristen said, and there was a lot to implement. But I want you to just think of the one thing that's going to be your main focus. Some of you are going to want to implement 53 things that Kristen said, but keep it focused, figure out what you really need to do right now. And maybe it's that identifying and creating desire with your leaders to get more in your pool of aspiring leaders. All right, so I'm going to post the conversation question. You guys can comment on that. And then the second thing is we really want you guys all to complete Impact by May 6th, so that when Stacia comes to do our call next month, you're going to be ready to pull out your leader guide and be ready to go, because you've already done the Impact training. And so that is in 2 weeks, Tuesday, May 12th, 12 noon Central Time. And this is really going to help you guys to strengthen your leaders. All right, you guys, so thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. Kristen, thank you again. We love and appreciate you so, so much. And I will go through the questions once I pull up the link and answer all the questions that you guys have. But have a wonderful day. Thanks for staying over. And we will be in touch over the next few days and see how many people are going to hit it, guys. We are cheering for you. We're so excited. And like I said in the beginning, you might have missed this. I had to put my sunglasses on because your future is so bright. So seriously, absolutely amazing what you guys are doing. So keep up the good work. We're so proud of you. Jean, did you want to say anything before we jump off, or did we lose Jean?
I think we might have lost Jean.
Okay, all right. I know she probably had something to jump to. So, all right, you guys, thanks so much. And we will be chatting with you guys soon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you.